thought it was amazing. I thought it will have people divided.
Fair warning, this movie will divide people, all 28 inches of it. But let's get into that in a minute. We are the Alter Ego Bros. That's Nick, I'm Andy, and today we're going to be reviewing 28 Years Later. This movie was directed and written by the same director and writer who wrote 28 Days Later, but not 28 Weeks Later. Apparently, they decided to scratch that whole storyline completely, and the budget for this was a modest $75 million, right in the middle pack for most movies. So topic number 1, what the fuck? I've not seen any of these other previous movies. Nick has. Classic, right? That's us. That's how we roll. And right off the bat, it's a very standard How to Be a Moron for Dummies.
How to Be a Moron for Dummies?
For dummies, yes. It's a classic just zombie movie where people are just total idiots.
They're not zombies. They're not zombies. They're not dead. They're not zombies. They're infected.
Sure, they seem like zombies, but music I thought was very incoherent, although very in your face and very noticeable, so I wasn't really quite sure how I wanted to judge that either. The whole thing was just, I'm not sure. What the fuck?
I'm still trying to figure out what you were trying to say. You said a lot without saying a whole lot.
That's how I feel about it.
YouTube creator for dummies. That's what that was. So I'm going to say, I did not enjoy the other two movies. I found the first one, physically really hard to watch just because it was back in 2002, and back then in the UK, they were really about high frame rate, low resolution, and all the camera shots were really up close too, and it just kind of made me a little bit ill. I don't like it when it's blurry resolution and at 60 to 90 frames per second. That's just too weird for my brain. But I guess I understood that the beginning was a flashback to when everything happened, and we hadn't gotten to the 28 years later part.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thrown into the deep end on that one, and then I was very confused for a little bit of that. But I will say that one thing I liked about it, and the theme and feel I got from the very beginning of this movie, was it very much represented of the video game The Forest, which is a video game that you and I both really like. I don't know if there was some influence there whatsoever, but that was one positive that I did have about watching this movie. What did you think about that?
I did get very much Forest vibes, and I did like that aspect of it. I liked that there were variants to the infected, with the alpha and the big bloated one. I don't remember what they called it because I kind of missed it. They only said it once, so they didn't call it that forever. But I liked how there were different forms. They didn't do that in the other two movies, so it was much appreciated.
Let's dive into the storylines here, because they kind of did something a little bit strange to me, but I don't know, maybe some people like it. But there's kind of two storylines built into this. There's this father-son storyline that then transitions to a mother-son storyline about midway through. I didn't really care for that. It was a cool father-son storyline, what they were developing. The son was learning how to go out and to kill these zombies. I thought it was really cool the way it was developing, and I saw that the mother was sick and whatnot, sure. Then all of a sudden, this dad just does a 180, and they did all this stuff to just make you hate him. But I was digging that storyline, and then all of a sudden it just ended, and I liked that more than I liked the mother-son storyline as that progressed. So maybe I was just disappointed that they got away from it and went to a weaker story, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I thought that it made sense. I mean, he did all this life-changing, rite of passage stuff with his dad, came back, and his dad starts embellishing everything, and he's like, I didn't feel that way about the adventure at all. I couldn't shoot anything, I couldn't do anything, and you could tell the kid was just kind of uncomfortable with it. And then for the kid to just be like, all right, we're leaving. Yeah, I thought it made complete sense.
So you liked the storyline, how they approached it then?
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Okay, so yeah, that's just one of those things where it's like I might be in the minority on this, but it's just like I just didn't dig it. The other thing I want to talk about is just the acting in general. I thought overall everyone did a phenomenal job with their acting and how they portrayed each of their characters. Specifically, Alfie Williams, who is the kid. I thought he had like the lead role. Like he really carried the team. I thought he outshined a lot of the adult actors too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dang, like that's hard to do as a child actor. So I predict probably a pretty good future for him, but I was very impressed and really enjoyed his performance and watching him develop as his character developed too. So Lord Voldemort really stuck out to me too. I thought he kind of saved the ending. I can't remember how he pronounces his name. It's Ralph Fiennes. What do you think about the acting in this?
I agree with you. I think the acting was really well done. Alfie did a great job, and I think even like Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was most recently in Craven, and that was just such a bad movie, he did a better job in this movie. But I think it also helped that he wasn't the main character. I was a little worried about that going into the movie, so I'm glad it focused more on the son and kind of his story than anyone else.
I'm going to pose it over to you. I'm sure you have some things that maybe you want to get off your chest. So what else would you like to talk about?
The Bone Memorial. I thought that was very cool and very poignant and also unsettling and macabre. There's a word for it, Andy. Macabre. Okay, look that up later.
But yeah, macabre. I'll look at porn on macabre later. Anything else along with that, or is that just that?
Oh yeah, this will probably be news to you.
Sure.
This has a sequel, so it's part one.
Whoa! They didn't say it's part one. Did they decide afterwards it's part one?
Yeah, they filmed them back to back apparently.
Oh, okay. I mean, I kind of presumed that based on how it ended, that there was going to be a continuation on this story. But I mean, I guess as a part one.
It will have people divided. People will love it or hate it. I didn't like it. I thought the ending was trash. I think it was something that would have done much better as like maybe a post-credit scene. But I think it really threw off the entire vibe of the movie, especially what the moment was at the end there. Like,
It's no surprise I didn't like it either. I thought very much kind of like I said in the beginning, it was just another example of like how to be a moron for dummies. I thought everything went down. I thought it was developing nicely.
Were you expecting something more like The Last of Us? Like Joel Ellie vibe with them?
I told Maddie, I think The Last of Us set this new standard for like these type of movies, and 28 years later stuck with the old standard from a decade ago. So I just was disappointed, I think, from that. Well, let's get into our rating then. I'm giving this one of my lowest scores of the year, which is a 2 out of 10. I really didn't know how to rate this any higher. I thought, as you'll see in my music category, I gave it a 0. It did stick out, but nothing was coherent. I had a hard time trying to find good points in this one, unfortunately. So I'm a 2 out of 10. What say you?
So I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10.
Jesus Christ.
I love this movie. I thought it was amazing. I thought it will have people divided. As you can see, we are so far off from here.
I
almost gave it a 10 out of 10, but I took a point away because of the ending. I thought the ending completely ruined everything that was going for. The story I thought was really nice and fresh, especially compared to the other two, which were just awful. They weren't good at all. Yeah, I really loved the movie.
Another example of how to be a moron for dummies.
You just don't get it, man. You just don't get it, dude. You don't get it.
Okay, so that gives us a 5.5. So that's in the 5 category on our tier list. So it is a mid-tier movie. I strongly disagree.
I think we gotta argue for this one.
So
I think it's either gotta be at the bottom or at the top. I don't feel right about it being in the middle.
Just wait till the end of the year live stream where we fine tune this stuff. We're gonna talk about this one again, I suppose, and there will be spoilers.
I'm shocked that you didn't like this movie at all. Like, I'm not really. After you said that was something, I was like, oh, he hated this movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this was a really good movie. Like, if it didn't have that ending, I would have given it a 10 out of 10. I thought the music was great. Like, boom, it made me cry and everything. Like, it was
Really?
fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Anyway, thanks for liking and subscribing. If you did, I apologize for Nick's behalf today, and we'll catch you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. And remember, we've just been two regular dudes
doing regular reviews.
You're making me hungry over here.
Oh gosh.